Valdosta City Hall, and I wanted to show you the elected officials in the city of Valdosta. First of all, we're a city of about 55,000 citizens, about 50% black, 50% white. And here is our city council. We have a mayor, obviously, Mayor Scott James Matheson. He owns a radio station which is very right-wing leaning. And then we have 7 council people. So Tim Carroll, my councilman, I like him. Vivian Cody, very dear, sweet lady who I care about very much, and she's a good servant to her community, which I admire. Sonny Vickers, who's been in office for years and years, and he's basically, I would say he knows the most about how to get things done in our city. Eric Howard, who's relatively new, and his wife is on the city school board. Ben Norton, he's the at-large district councilman. I'll come back to that. Andrew Gibbs. Really, I think Andrew and Tim and Ben. So we have 3 white council people. And then there's Sandra Tooley, who is also beloved. And I know you trolls are going to look at my reflection in the mirror. I'm sorry, Sandra. You come up here. She's very beloved in her district. Her family has a community center, and generations of her family have tried to help our city in various ways, so she is beloved. So here we have it. Let's see, we have 3 white council people, 4 black council people, and a mayor. And our mayor only won by, I think, 19 votes, and he ran against a black candidate. So in the next election cycle, we may get a black mayor. I personally don't feel that the color of one's skin should determine whether or not you get elected. I do think it's important that you have representation, that you have an integrated group of leaders leading your city and county. But sometimes I think a white person can represent a majority-minority district. Obviously, I was a white president for an NAACP branch, so I think I did a good job representing my branch. If we look down through history, here's here in 2013, our Valdosta City Council had one woman, Deidre White, and she represented a majority-minority district. So I just want you to see, we've always had a fairly integrated city council. This is in 2004, and we've got 3 African-American council members out of the 7 districts. Again, there's 3 over here. I guess it's only been recently, no, here we go, 2011, where we had 4 African-American city council members. And that's Larry Hanson. He used to be our city manager. He was probably the best city manager in the state of Georgia. He got picked up by the Georgia Municipal Association because they admired his work so much. So back to the at-large city councilman. I don't have any personal animosity to Ben Norton. One of the things, or anyone on city council, I've had issues with pretty much all of them at one time or another. And one of the things my mentor told me, Reverend Floyd Rose, when we were all in civil rights together, is there are no permanent friends or enemies. There are only permanent issues. And you know, when you become an elected official, you have to take the good with the bad. You're not going to make everyone happy, but you do need to talk to everybody, and you need to go forward in a manner that is racially inclusive and politically inclusive. And let me talk about that. So some of the issues, first of all, I have with an at-large district, people in the South may not know this because, I don't know, it's just been standard operating procedure for so long, but a lot of these at-large districts were put in place when black people got the right to vote, and the at-large district was meant to dilute the black vote. So one of the things our civil rights groups tried to do was get rid of the at-large district, and the judge basically said, no, look, you have a majority of African-American people of color elected officials, so there really isn't any point in dismantling the at-large. I don't agree with that, but that's what the judge said. So I don't have a problem with Ben Norton as a person. I do have a problem with an at-large district because, like I said, it's just to dilute the black vote. The mayor only gets a vote if there's a tie among council members. So I do have a problem with some of the issues that Andrew Gibbs has put himself in the front of, and in my opinion, he only did it because he wanted to get votes from the MAGA crowd. But we had a group of citizens that lived on a street that was named Forest Street, and it was most likely named for Nathan Bedford Forrest, the leader of the KKK. And the citizens went around and collected a petition and got signatures to change the name of the street to Barack Obama Boulevard. And because Mr. Gibbs lives in a district that's majority white and majority, I guess, old Valdosta, that doesn't want to remember Barack Obama as anything except an upstart. I mean, I told you I was over at the courthouse when Newt Gingrich came to town and called President Obama the food stamp president. So, but anyway, this petition came forward following all the laws of changing, all the statutes rather, the city ordinances of changing a street name. They had they had done the proper procedure and they had the correct amount of signatures. It was a majority, so it should have been an automatic vote, but Mr. Gibbs decided to grandstand and talk about how he didn't think we should change the name of that street. And really, I mean, I know what you did there. I know you did it because you wanted to get Republican MAGA people to vote for you, and you should be ashamed of that. Another issue I've had with both Councilman Gibbs and Councilman Norton is both men sat on Kelly Loeffler's steering committee, and she was a Georgia senator, a Republican Georgia senator. She lost the election, but in my opinion, if you're going to come represent the city of Valdosta as an elected official, then leave your politics at the door, because you have to represent, these are nonpartisan seats. No one on city council runs as a Republican or a Democrat, and you have to represent all the people in our city, not your particular political party. But both of these guys probably have visions of stepping up the political ladder and climbing the ranks of Republican politics in Georgia. Okay, back over here. Now we have pictures of all the mayors that came before, back to the founding of Valdosta. And these folks, as you can see, it's all white men. Nothing but white men going way back. I don't know when we're going to have a black mayor, I don't know. We've had pro tem mayors who were black, and we've had women's city council, but I don't think we've ever had a female mayor. I'm pretty sure, no, and I don't think we've ever had a black mayor. Sonny Vickers was a mayor pro tem, I believe, or he might have had an interim mayor position. So I've known personally these mayors. Mayor John Gale, he got sued by the Kendrick Johnson family. Sonny Vickers, Councilman Vickers, Mayor Freddie, Councilman Sumner, I think he was also a pro tem or an interim mayor. He was my councilman for a while. And Jimmy Rainwater, and he was beloved by many people in Valdosta, black and white, because even if you didn't agree with Jimmy, he would take the time to listen to you and talk to you. And that's just a great, that's just a great character for anybody in elected office, is just to sit down and talk and have a cup of coffee and go over your issues. So over here are the city council chambers, and we used to come and sit and go up and talk to our city council. Here's where we would come to, in the part of the city council meeting where they, at the end, where they had citizens to be heard. And I got arrested here along with 14 other people because we wanted to change the name of a park. And so if you want to talk, you basically just come up here and you start forming a line and you go back that way. So we just wanted to change the name of a park that was named for a segregationist. It used to be a segregated park. And we thought it was no big deal. And then when we came down here, Mayor John Freddie said, all right, I've listened to this enough. And I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 people had spoken. And he said, there might be somebody who wants to talk about a vicious dog. Well, you can imagine how that set everybody off. So we came up like, oh no, just because you don't want to hear us, that doesn't mean you can turn us out, because we have a right, just as much as the next citizen, to come present our issues for you to look at and consider, and we are asking you to rename a park. So he called the police officers, and we all were in a line, and then we were up here around City Council like, no, we're not sitting down. And they all arrested us and took us to jail and arrested us for disruption of a public meeting. So the case went to the Georgia Supreme Court and it was overturned. They ruled in our favor. So our arrest records were vacated. We were never convicted of anything. But that was just one of the many civil rights issues that I was a participant in. And you may not think that that's much, but the point I would like you to take is that a group of majority black people came here and asked that the council rename a park for a person of color, and the council lost their absolute minds, and Mayor Freddie lost his mind and arrested everybody. The people that I went to jail with, there were people who worked in banks, there were teachers, there were nurses, there were local businessmen, there were 2 or 3 reverends that went with us. So, when we got in the jail, the people who were, the other people in there that were watching us come in, they said, oh my God, they've raided a church. Because we were all, seriously, I am not making this up, we were all pretty much the pillars of our community. So anyhow, we ultimately won, but my God, over the naming of a park. Okay, so this was constructed in 1910, renovated in 1982. I think we're going to start coming back. Most of us quit coming because of COVID, and that was true around the country. I think we're going to start coming back. Okay, so that's City Hall, and the site of many places where we have had issues in our community play out. I brought a complaint as a citizen against a city councilman that I thought was behaving in an unethical manner, so it was heard here. I was not successful in that, but we were successful in other things. So activism is a worthwhile endeavor. You win and you lose, but it's the way you conduct the fight that can really lead to change in your community, and I hope that people who come after me will think about that. And also, if I didn't say it already, I'll say it again. Here's the outside of the building. That's the City Hall. We have Child Abuse Prevention Month, so that's why there's all the pinwheels. But I want to say again that in civil rights, there are no permanent friends or enemies. So you will have issues with political leaders, but that doesn't mean that you can't relate to them as people and talk about the issues. Now sometimes, and one of the things that a lot of these MAGA folks and the Trumpers and the right-wing Republicans don't understand is that people like me who have issues that involve inclusivity, fairness, equality, justice, non-authoritarianism in your government, that when we look at people promoting the Trumper agenda, it is very difficult, if not impossible, for us to look at you as anything except a very immoral person, because your leader, Trump, is a criminal who talks very casually about sexually assaulting women. And I can't be friends with people who are rabid Trumpers because of that, because I'm a survivor of sexual assault, and when people talk about how much they love Trump, it just does something to my soul, because he should never have been in a position of authority in our country, because he has no character, no morals, doesn't know how to behave. I'm not a good public speaker, but I can speak much better than President Trump ever did. So anyway, that's a sidebar. If you come after me and you want to conduct civil rights keep in mind. There's no permanent friends or enemies. There are only permanent issues. Thank you.